down, I'd heard the entire town of Merritt was evacuated, and they were coming to Kamloops and Kelowna and these other places for shelter. And the storm was going. I was white knuckling through snow, of course. It's always what happens. But yeah, I figured I'd get to Kamloops and see what happens from there. We had no idea the extent of the tragedy that was happening. And, well, the traffic is a little noisy. We had no idea when the roads might be open, when they wouldn't be open. And then over the next few days, we realized these roads might not be open for months. And I was in Kamloops, which is not my ideal city for stealth camping. I found a couple of good spots. Of course, one of them I got to, and there's syringes and the lock zone kit right where I was going to camp for the night. And I found a few other potential spots. The problem I have with Kamloops, it's a beautiful city, beautiful people, but everybody's in a real hurry, and the town is not laid out straight. Like there's roads curving all over. And when I'm looking for a spot, I try to slow down and peek around. And the people behind me, they know exactly where they're going, and they want to get there quick. So there's a little bit of road rage in this, and not just against me, but against other people. But no, it's a really good town, of course, and obviously a stressful time for a bunch of people that ended up in the town as evacuees, etc. So with that said, I got an eye infection. It was called a sty. And it's not pink eye, because I know the jokes are going to come up about pink eye, but no. It's basically the tear pipe, the nozzle of the tear pipe gets a crumb in it or something, and it backs up. And my whole eye was like swollen shut. So right then I'm thinking, this is definitely not meant to be. As soon as the eye heals up, I'll turn around, and I did. And I'm just on the way back home right now. I'm probably 3 hours away from home at the moment. And then I saw this awesome sign. So I had to camp behind that, obviously. And it's been overdue. I've been absolutely down in the dumps, but this is not an hour for me to complain. This is, I'm going to say, a call to arms for people. With what's happening in BC, I have to thank the beer donation people, which will play out here, probably over here. But please, I'm going to take down the donation link as soon as I get back to edit this video. And I encourage everybody to donate to local charities, local food banks, Red Cross, whatever the case is. This is the season coming up when people need it the most. I am eating quite fine here. It doesn't look like much. That's all I need. I'll do fine. Corned beefy. But I have donated $1,000 to the Red Cross BC flood relief, and I put a challenge out to any other YouTubers that get to go out to BC, a beautiful province. I was born there. I lived there for years. I have a lot of good friends and a lot of family there, and it breaks my heart what everybody in BC has been going through. But that's not the only tragedy in the world. Please, please defer any beer donation funds until after things get straightened out into the new year sometime, and after the holiday season is done, because there's folks that, would be lucky to be having this tangy corned beef cabbage soup here for sure. And so anybody that's actually going out, enjoying BC, any tourists, please consider putting in a donation to the relief fund. And That's all I can say about that. I know it's probably a long list over there because it's been a few weeks that I haven't done a video, but thank you all so much. But I am going to be turning off the links to the beer donation funds. And until the new year, I want to see any of those donations go towards your local food banks, Habitat for Humanity, whatever your cause is. And please give me a message through stevewallace.com or campingwithsteve.com. They're both the same site. And I'm going to get your names up for what you can do to help people that are really struggling, because my stealth camping, I love doing it. I get a thrill out of it. I used to do it not by choice. Now I do it by choice because it's fun to do and it gets me outside. A lot of people don't have that choice, though. Thank you all so much, of course. And enough of this old guy rambling on. I have no idea what I'm even going to do when I get home for another video, but I know what I'm going to do as soon as I finish eating this. I have to get the bear spray out of my car across the highway, so we're going to go for a little walk here as soon as the traffic calms down. Cheers, everybody. And feels like I'm here with friends, even though I'm just talking to the camera. But I'll see you in the comments, I'm sure. Okay, I'm just going to go for it. Actually, this works out perfect. Look at this. Oh, my foot got wet. Perfect timing. It doesn't get better than that. Grab a big one. It's going to be around -4 Celsius tonight, so I'm sure that's not too cold. Probably, 24 Fahrenheit or something like that. 25, I don't know. But I have a sleeping bag that should be able to deal with that, and I got a liner inside of that sleeping bag too. That'll be excellent. I just gotta head back across the highway here, and we can get ready to hunker down a little bit. It's go time. Highway traffic is really calming down a lot, so I'm going to get the sleeping bag set up. I don't think I've used this one before. It's the Woods Logan -7. I've got an assortment of sleeping bags to kind of try and match the temperatures I go in on. And this one's pretty puffy, pretty big. Oh yeah, it's a nice big sleeping bag. Of course, that's a real wide, big mummy bag, which is good. I'm going to be trying out this fleece sleeping bag liner. I'm just going to cover up that light here. When I look on the screen, it looks a lot brighter than it actually is in real life. But yeah, fleece liner in here should provide the warmth I need without trying to inflate that sleeping pad. And I know there's under quilts for these too, which are super good. I will experiment with one of those under quilts here in the not too distant future, but time for this old guy to call in for the night. And We'll see what the morning brings. Walk around a bit. Make sure my bear sprayed in here with me. Good. Okay, sounds good. Crawl in here and get settled. Okay, tucked in quite nicely. The sleeping bag liner getting into the other sleeping bag was kind of like trying to put a pair of jeans on top of another pair of jeans. Didn't work too smoothly, but it worked. I got everything I need here. Up above me, of course, the bear spray, cell phone, pair of keys over there. And of course, our car is so unreliable, I didn't want to take it on this trip, so I rented a car. And I did not know, but if you lean on the keys wrong, the trunk pops open. And got a call from the hotel front desk, and they said, your trunk's open. So I went down to close it. If I'd known better, I could have just pushed the button to close the trunk, but I'm not used to these fancy things. So I've got a really nice view out here through the screen. I can see a whole bunch of stuff out there, vehicles coming. Actually, I could probably see the car in the parking lot if I didn't have this camo in the way. But hopefully it'll be a warm night. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you like watching grown men sleep behind billboards, please consider subscribing, and we'll catch you guys in the morning. Cheers. Good morning. It's cold out there and I don't want to get out of bed, but I have to. Here goes nothing. Okay, the worst is over. Jacket's on. We packed up here. This little fleece liner I got probably saved the day. I was pretty warm, but just about on the edge of comfortable, if you know what I mean. My feet were having some issues staying warm until the sun came up and I could see the bottom of the sleeping bag where my feet were was kind of bunched over weird. And as soon as I adjusted it, feet warmed right up. It could have been a much nicer night. However, I did get some sleep. Not a full 8, of course, but that's okay. It is a good thing to get any amount of sleep behind a billboard in freezing temperatures, non-stop traffic. Things could definitely be worse. Will it fit back in the bag? Ta-da! That golf course up the hill there is a lot more substantial than I thought. I looked at it on the maps, and it's a public golf course. Looks to be a full 18 holes, and I guess I technically kind of slept beside the golf course. Just love these stuff sack compression bags. Makes pack up so much easier. I'm just about packed up, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to leave the gear basically here, run across the road, back to the car, then casually load up. I won't forget the keys for that thing. Anyway. Excellent, excellent. I don't always mention in the videos what hammock I'm using, but it is a Hennessy asymmetrical zip model hammock. Been using these for years with absolute great success. You sleep at an angle inside of them against the line. Ideally, that's what you do. And then you can actually lay flat instead of like curve like a banana. And I'm a side sleeper, so that works really good for me. Everything packs up nice and quickly. I got this camo netting still set up here because I'm leaving all the gear here when I run across the road. Same deal as last time, I'm just bringing the cameras because it would be absolutely unfortunate if they got stolen right when I finish filming the video. So I'm gonna wait for the break in traffic and then we're gonna run across the road. Now is a good time to go. She's a frosty one. This will have to warm up. The rental company didn't include an ice scraper, and I hate using the credit cards. My hands are cold enough. I don't want to freeze myself any more than I am. Tripod, and we're out of here. Another successful stealth. Somewhere I probably shouldn't have been. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned. Oh, yeah, this backpack is really not that comfortable. Stay tuned for more adventures. There's bound to be more. I'm not giving up anytime soon. And we'll see how things go with the weather. It's going to be really crummy, so next week, whatever I do is going to be cold. I can guarantee you that. So cheers, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for following along. Bye, everybody.
From hard hats to steel-toed boots, Grainger's got your safety needs covered. Literally. Shop Grainger's vast inventory of safety products. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Camping with Steve. As you can see, it's the perfect day to go camping. And today I'm going to set up a tent inside of a larger tent and try to heat it with candles. So that's what it's all about today. There's still probably a couple inches of snow. It's older, hard, more compact snow. I skimmed off the layer on the top because that's all I can do, really. I'm not Chuck Norris. I'm not going to get this down to the gravel. So when I set up the tent on top of this, we'll just have to keep the boots on, I guess, in there. That'll be all right. Brought some firewood from the firewood pile. So close. Oh yeah, feels warmer in there already. Well, inside of here, I got a small 2-person dome tent I'm going to try to set up for an extra layer of insulation. And we'll see what that does in here. A nice still wind, so this thing shouldn't blow off on us. We'll see. I've never set this thing up before, and I'm really hoping it goes together inside of this. Otherwise, I'll have to pull the big tent off and put it back on top. From what I see, this is what a 2-person tent is, supposedly. Should do okay. This is where we could get into issues. Right. It's actually somehow long enough to assemble 10 poles inside of this for another tent. That's all right. Oh, it's definitely light. Interesting feature with this tent. I'll get into the details later, but look at how the poles go together. The middle part's on the inside so it doesn't snag when you slide it through. Brilliant. It only took us until 20 to 21 to figure this out. Perfect. Double door on this thing. It's worse. Oh. The fly is heavier than the tent. Good quality. I'm not stressing too much about putting the other hole in the fly here because it's just another layer of insulation, really. It's a cool tent. I had to pick it up because I don't really have one that was small enough to put inside this one. So I had to go grab this little guy. 88 tire, of course. They didn't give it to me for free. But it is, looks like really decent tent so far. It would be perfect for like a canoe or kayak trip or something. It's a little heavy for backpacking, but if you had a few people with you all sharing the gear, it could be quite possible. So, haul a little more stuff in here, and then this will be the outer shell of an insulated tent, the inner shell of another tent. Then I'm going to put some candles in here in the main tent. I'm not going to put them in this little fire trap here because that's just asking for it. You can get little holders that will hold them, like lanterns, or put them in clay pots to prevent them tipping over. And I think the safest and smartest thing to do is just to put them right in the snow, because that's not going to catch on fire. I hope. the good parts are done and not a moment too soon because we're losing our sunlight power. And that should certainly qualify me for a little bit of vitamin beer here. Step 2 to help replenish my electrolytes out here. And we do have a remote control temperature sensor thermometer. So I'm going to have one taking the inside temperature and the outside temperature. We'll put that far away from the firing vehicle so we get an accurate outside reading. We're going to see what we can do with just tea lights. I have a carbon monoxide alarm, because if you see a yellow flame, it is giving off carbon monoxide. Maybe not that much for each candle, but it's still putting it out there. And we're looking at like 70 to 80 BTUs per candle flame. So in order to actually do the equivalent of a buddy heater, you'd need like hundreds of them there. So a buddy heater is about 18,000 BTU. So math there, the whole thing would burn down to the ground in about a second. Yeah, I'm gonna ration my candles because they last for about 4 hours each under laboratory conditions, which we don't have here. And I'm really relying on just the sleeping bag to get me through the night. Should be down to minus 20 Celsius. Hopefully a lot warmer than that in the tents. In here in the tent, and the tent inside the tent, first things first, my carbon monoxide alarm. These little guys will save your bacon if there's a silent but deadly gas in the area. And here's my thermometer. Now, the top number there is the outdoor temperature, minus 16 Celsius. The bottom one says 0. And the bottom one's what's happening inside this.
Nature's Bounty supplements your muscles and bones with 240 milligrams per day of magnesium. It's in your nature to stand strong.
24/7 shower fresh. My Old Spice Fiji.
Lowe's knows when you need a new appliance, you need it fast. So we offer next day delivery of hundreds of appliances. Plus, members save more. And we'll haul away your old one. When you need it fast, we've got you covered. Shop Lowe's today. We help, you save.
$6 equals 3 apps plus 0 regret. That's some genius level math. Get 3 apps for $6. Why the sheets not?
This tent. It's designed for in a house, so I think it stops at 0 because there's no heat going in here, and this is clearly not 0 degrees in here. So I don't think it actually starts registering until it gets to 0 degrees. So, tea light time. Now I'm going to start with just a few of them in here to see if we can get some decent temperature rise in this thing versus what's happening outside. I think I'll start with 5. That sounds reasonable because I know there's 70 to 80 BTU per candle. I'll get 5 of these on here. It's a very modest heat source, but it is a triple wall insulated ice fishing hut, so that's okay. I did have ambitious plans to try and cook on these things tonight too. However, they don't give off a lot of heat. You're going to have to be using basically pre-cooked stuff that you're kind of warming up in a pot. But it can be done. It wouldn't be boiling water to make noodles or anything. 3. And you're going to end up putting as many of these as necessary in here in order to get this to at least register on the indoor portion of the thermometer. And 0 degrees Celsius. I don't want my body heat to affect the thermometer. So, where should I put this? Oh, right atop the tent. That's a reasonable location. Perfect. Inside the tent. And there are ventilation holes. There's one right up there that's open, so there should be some air flowing through. However, let these things burn for a while, and we'll see what it does for the temperature. Yeah, it's still registering 0 degrees Celsius in here. Feels like it. That's for sure. I think it'll take more than 5 candles to work this miracle. So I'm gonna light up a whole bunch more. We'll go for, I don't know, 15 candles total, and we'll see what that can do here. It's still very sleepable. I can easily sleep in here with the sleeping bag. I'm not concerned about me being warm. It's not a problem at all. I just want to see if I can get the bottom red line on this thermometer to show something other than 0 degrees, 32 Fahrenheit. This one doesn't even have a wick. Oh, one casualty, but I'll like the rest of these. We'll see what that will do for our interior temperature. I know enough of these. This thing would be downright tropical. I think they're going to go. The reason I'm not using a pan or anything to put these on is I figured the snow would be good enough, but they do melt into the snow. And I've never tried this before, so this is all trial and error. We'll see what happens here, and if this will start to register a temperature inside here. Freezing. Nice and warm out here. I was staying warm by the fire for quite a while, and these candles have actually burned through the snow here, so they need something to stop from doing this. Oh boy, this one's way down there. So I'm going to put them on these plates to stop them from melting through the snow. Paper plates, I know. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? But like I did a bunch in here, it should warm me up quite nicely. And then we will get back out to the fire and continue cooking dinner. Yeah. Time to eat. Usually I have a camping pan, but today I had to bring my home skill. So start frying up some sausage. Johnsonville, to be specific. Browned up the sausage, throw in a little water. Because I'm gonna try and actually cook some gnocchi, mini gnocchi, mini frozen gnocchi. That'll work okay, I think. Severely frozen. Vitamin fire will help that. It's boiling down, and so clearly broccoli has to be the healthy denominator in this equation. And it looks like a bit there for sure. Don't worry, I'll put it into smaller pieces. Yeah. Alfredo in here. And this is just a nice, simple, complicated camping meal. Nothing wrong with that. Let it reduce. And we got some gnocchi, sausage, broccoli, over the counter, classico type of meal here. So, yum. Oh, yes. Is this ever good? A little taste. Try not to burn my home skillet. I think it's quite a good meal here. Maybe more veggies. I don't see where the broccoli even. Oh, there's one. Healthy. Delicious meal. Tent inside a tent. I don't know where I stand on these tea lights because they didn't raise the temperature in here measurably. But we're at minus 22 degrees Celsius right now. I can put that into the view. Minus 22. And in Fahrenheit, oh boy, it was minus 7 Fahrenheit. So it's a little chilly, but there's no wind going on. Tent inside of the tent, I'm sure I'll be just fine. Inflate the old air mattress here. And this I'll put inside of the sleeping bag. So I should be quite cozy tonight. I'm not really expecting any problems. But before the lens fogs up too much more, we are nicely sequestered in the tent within a tent. So before I tuck in for the night, I will give a huge shout out to all the people that have donated to the Beer Donation Fund. You guys are making these crazy adventures possible. This tent I picked up today, I would not have if it wasn't for you guys. So, tent inside of a tent, I think we'll do a little more comparisons here and see how it versus just a tent on its own, or a sleeping bag on its own, or that type of thing. So, we'll see you guys in the morning. Thank you all so much. And sorry the lens is fogging up here all the time. Yeah. The joys of minus 22 Celsius or minus 7 Fahrenheit. And I'm scared to even know what that'll be in the morning. Good morning. It wasn't the warmest sleep, but it also wasn't the coldest. I've been colder than that before. Our morning temperature outside is saying 2 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 17 Celsius. Holy moly, looks like everything kind of got reset on here. But our minimum temperature was minus 24 Celsius out there at some point in the night last night. In Fahrenheit, that's minus 11. So, yay. Anyhow. Yeah, it feels a lot colder outside than in. And there's no really heat source in here other than me. And I give off maybe 300 or 400 BTU. Probably closer to 200 if I'm sleeping. So it has managed to capture a lot of that heat. I'll open up a couple more windows, make this place a little brighter. So, candles, no. I'm not going to mess around with candles again. For the amount of hassle, it's just not really worth it in my opinion. It's a neat idea, but there's only so many BTU a candle can put out. And that BTU is like 80 BTUs, which is not a lot. And regardless of how you assemble it or put clay pots on it, it's not going to increase the heat of that candle. In a car for a survival situation, that may make the difference between life and death, though, because that little bit of extra heat in a closed-in vehicle could definitely raise the temperature a few degrees. Anyhow, the candles, a no-go. The tent inside of the tent, a cool concept as well. Again, if there was another heat source inside of the tent, it probably would have made a bigger difference. But unfortunately, I don't have a 3-zone thermometer for measuring all 3 different zones. Maybe I'll mess around with that one day and see what we can come up with. But Mr. Buddy Heater, that propane thing, that's probably a way better option than any of these other weird ways to try and heat the tents. So that's where I stand on that whole situation. Anyway, I'm gonna start getting this stuff torn down. This little tent here, I'm pleased with. We'll take this out in the summer or in the spring when it's a little more suited to that type of temperatures. But yeah, that's going to be a great companion on the bicycle or on the rivers, that type of thing. Anywhere I don't have to be stealthy because of its recognizable color. Oh, deflated. That explains what was happening with the discomforting cold. moment of truth is always, will it fit in the bag? I have good hopes because this is a pretty generous sized tent bag. Let's see what happens. Never in my life have I seen a tent do that. And that was under really cramped packing circumstances in here. We didn't exactly have time to put it out on a nice summer day and fold it up perfectly. So, bam, done. Woohoo. If you can handle these videos, please don't be ashamed to subscribe. I'll keep it low key. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, we're back usually every Thursday. We try our best. Sometimes things don't go 100% to plan, but for the most part, that's where you can find me. Right here on this channel, every Thursday. So this channel is definitely not an instructional channel. It's not an informative channel. It's not a how-to channel. I don't know if any of these shelters or meals or anything are actually going to work out in real life. So we're just kind of a trial and error channel. Trial and error channel. And if we do find out something along the way, then I guess we need it. For educational resources, however, there are far better serious outdoors YouTube channels than this. Fair warning. As somebody that sets up and tears down a tent 60 or 70 times a year, these easy up and down hub tents are awesome. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and we'll see you later. Cheers.
Z-Bar helps fuel your little explorers for big adventures ahead. With organic oats and a taste kids love. Z-Bar, adventure needs fuel. Make every day a day to remember. Method transforms you.
Happy Thursday, everybody. We are camping in an actual campground today. It's abandoned, not so round. And I'm going to sleep actually right on the ground underneath of this tree without a tent. Because it worked so well last time with normal summer gear. I said, how far can I push this? So I'm going to just put a tarp down and sleep right by the fire. First things first, though, I got to bushcraft a fire. Picked up some firewood. Go. Big chunks in here. So, hopefully these big ones will light properly. That should get it going. Now you're camping with Steve. Okay, it looks like it's gonna go, but just to be sure, I've thrown in some garbage from the car and some of these zip fire starters. Can't go wrong with a few of them in there. And definitely want to be nice and warm in these cold weather conditions. Oh yeah. fire going, it's time for a well-deserved step 2. Yum, yum. Time of year, I don't even need a cooler. I just leave stuff out in the snow. Actually, I have to put hand warmers in my cooler to stop stuff from freezing. Neat times out here. So this will be the actual shelter is going to be this tree. And I'll just quickly set up the shelter here. All right, done. I'll just put the sleeping bag on there, sleep right by the fire, under the stars. I'm gonna get dinner started simmering now because it's gonna be a stew tonight. And that'll take a while to cook. So, just use your regular knife you took out of the kitchen, IKEA brand, and brown up some beef. Canola oil. First. The meat is browned. And I just picked up one of these packages of beef stew spice mix stuff. And I'm pretty sure I can throw it all into pot, get it boiling. Like that. You don't waste anything flammable around here. And the instructions call for 2 cups of water. That sounds gross, so I'm just going to use Guinness. Dollar store bottle opener. Alright. Don't burn your spoon. Yeah, that stirred up. When I throw in the vegetables and potatoes later, I'm just using cans of potatoes, cans of vegetables. I'll just dump them all in. So this has got a long time to simmer. As that's simmering and cooking, I'll just briefly mention what I brought with me. A cheap tarp from a sporting goods store here, $40 or so. Cheap sleeping bag from that same store. Canadian Tire, if anybody is curious, but you may know that's where I do a lot of shopping. The fire starter was just a standard issue road flare from the auto department of said store. Whatever I could scrounge out of the kitchen. And this, typical folding chair, Outbound brand. It's actually broken, but works good enough. And then I just got, clothes from the thrift store on. Keeping myself warm today. So while this cooks, I'll do a quick walk around before we lose our daylight. And then we are going to be eating good tonight. There is a garbage for my garbage, so that's convenient. And I'm the only one here, of course. Just going to walk down. I think the bathrooms are locked up. I'll check. Awesome. Washrooms are open. So sadly, there is a highway right there, so there's some road noise. But I drove in looking for a spot that was further from the road, and it's not plowed, so I got a little scared, and then I just decided I'll camp right here to avoid any problems. And I'll play ground with a swing set over there, should I choose to indulge later. I don't see a lot of animal tracks out here, but I did see some out on the road, so I'm going to take a look at what we might have out here for wildlife. There hasn't been too much wildlife around here, judging by the tracks lately, but there's a lake just up there. I'm going to go peek at the lake. That lake's a lot farther than I thought. I might just mind my stew and have another step 2. Step 3. So, I tasted that. Basically, I think I got a little overboard putting that whole can of stout in there. So, I had to water it down with beef broth. And kind of chuck in some onions. Let that simmer some more. And of course, throw in a little pepper. All right. And gonna add more liquid to the fuel here because I was not anticipating the stout to boil down to such an aggressive flavor. But when I added the broth to it, that was fine. So, potatoes. I've never used canned potatoes before, but I really like convenient camping things. Okay. Diced potatoes. Got a date with the stew. And so do the sweet peas and carrots. And again, I'm not straining because I want to water down that really aggressive flavor. We'll let that all get to know each other here in the pot. Oh, yeah. Looks like it's going to be a fine stew. You probably can't see it.